Hey everybody, in today's video you got Kelsey and myself, Nelson, fishing for clownfish, knife clownfish, and Lake Ida and Lake Osborne. I feel like we got these fish figured out pretty good. When you're trying to find them, idle around the lake. Don't go driving 35 miles an hour. Just idle around and these clownfish actually come up to the surface and gulp air. It's pretty cool. Now there are a few other fish that do this, the walking catfish, armored catfish, and sometimes gar. But if you just relax and watch the fish when they come up to the surface, you can actually be able to tell the difference in them. We got so good at it we could actually see the spots on them when they rolled. Oh, and right here, don't lip them when you catch them. Apparently their mouth has pretty bad teeth and so does their tongue. Once we found the fish, which this bunch of fish here was actually in 13 foot of water. It's pretty deep. So we just anchored up next to them and we're casting live baits to them. We're using a slider bobber and we're letting our bait go down to about 10 feet and we got like a 1 foot leader. The leader's, I think it was 15-pound test, and then we're using like 6 or 10-pound test as our main line. We want to stay really light. We want our live bait to be able to swim around and look good. But anyways, our bait's near the bottom. It's about 1 foot or 2 foot above the bottom. And the clownfish are hanging out pretty much on the bottom. Kelsey just lost that fish right there. He shook the hook, which we're using size 4 to size 1 J hooks. We tried circle hooks. We didn't have very much good luck with them. And from here in the video you can tell we ended up catching quite a few different fish. Had a peacock bass there. We caught some channel cats. And then we caught some, I think they're called sunshine bass. They look kind of like a baby striper. And then this right here, this is very interesting. Clown knife fish actually can swim backwards. So you'd get the half of the fish in the net, and then their tail would, right there, you just did it, would swim backwards out of the net. It was pretty crazy. The net we're using here is just one we use for catching lobster. A bigger net with a longer handle would have been a lot easier. So we did end up eating one of the clownfish. It was the last one we caught on our trip here, and I will never do that again. The clownfish tasted just fine, but they are full of bones. And I don't mind a few bones, big bones, it's fine. These bones are all through their meat and they're super, super fine, like your hair, but it was bones just all through the meat. I've seen where people use spoons to scoop the meat out of the fillets so they don't get in the meat. It just seems like a big pain in the butt. I would honestly rather just eat a peacock bass, a channel catfish, heck, a tilapia, anything but not a clownfish. We will never be keeping another one again. You are allowed to keep as many as you want because technically they are considered an invasive fish. I don't see the point in keeping them if you're not going to eat them though. I've talked to a lot of different people about clownfish and I've never heard anyone say a bad thing about them. And I've seen multiple captains on Lake Ida running charters to catch these fish. And I know of dozens of people that have them on their bucket list of fish they want to catch. So unless you're going to eat the fish, don't kill them. So check this clownfish out. He has no spots on him, either side of his body. Super cool looking fish. Big silver thing. And so now we're fishing Lake Osborne. I don't know if you could tell by the background there, but we're literally 300, 400 yards away from the boat ramp. I've never fished in this lake a day in my life. We just got here, started idling around the lake, and we found these fish rolling on the surface, and we started fishing for them. These fish are actually in some deep water too. I think this spot was like 18 foot, 19 foot of water, and we're catching them. So we had to let our stop knot on our line, we had to raise it up a little bit to let our bait drop down a little closer to the bottom. So even in this spot being 19 foot deep, we still caught some other fish besides clownfish. We caught some actually decent size largemouth bass, some more of those sunshine stripers, some peacock bass. We just didn't include any of those fish in the video because it would have been really long then. Oh, and there was a pod of tarpon in this area. It was probably 5 to 10 of them, anywhere from 20 to 30 pounds rolling around us. We couldn't get them to bite though. It was still really cool to see them, and I've also heard of snook being in Lake Osborne. And if they're in Lake Osborne, I would assume that they're probably in Lake Ida too. Because the two lakes are connected by canals and ditches. which the canals and ditches run for miles and miles and miles. If you look out on Google Map, it's crazy to follow some of those canals. They just keep going and going. So there was a few times we would set up on a school of fish and they wouldn't bite for whatever reason. We'd give them about an hour, and if we didn't get a bite in an hour, we would move to a different bunch of fish. And then later on that day, we might come back and recheck those fish out and see if they turned on. These fish here, we're actually in 6 foot of water now catching these fish. 30 minutes ago, we were catching fish in 18 foot of water. Now on the main part of the lake. This is like a cove, completely different type of setup. And they're biting here too. The hook got tangled in the net, so I had to do a reverse netting of the clownfish. To fish in the shallower water, all we had to do is grab our stop knot on our main line and slide it down to where it was 4 foot away from our sinker. And then we have our 1 foot leader. So our bait is sitting at 5 feet down, and we're fishing in 6 foot of water. So the bait's right above the clownfish. All right, we're about to get to my favorite part of the video, the bait. You can buy shiners at any bait and tackle store in Miami. They run pretty much from $10 to $14 a dozen. I'm fine with that. The only problem with them is they don't last long. You get about 2 to 3 casts with them before they die. This right here is a Bass Pro Shop seine. I spent $50 on this thing. It's a cheap, junky seine. It's not that great, but it catches the bait great. We caught baby tilapia with it. And another bait, I'm calling it a silver shiner. It's not a golden shiner. It's not a golden shiner. It reminds me of a mud minnow. If y'all know what it is, please tell me in the comment because it's killing me. But they're absolutely great bait. You get plenty of casts. See, there they are. That's the baby tilapia. And then the other ones, again, I'm not sure what they're called, but they're phenomenal bait. All the fish love them. They're super tough. Alright, so these are golden shiners we caught yesterday out of Lake Ida. We left them in the boat overnight. There's no ice in the water or nothing to cool it down, and we just got one of them little Walmart bubblers in here. There was 4 dead ones. I think they died because they got beat up when we caught them, and probably some that jumped out. There's probably 4 dead. There's one more dead one. Again, he probably died not from the water, but from jumping out on the floor and then getting beat up pretty good. There's probably 4 dozen in there, and they're doing great. The water looks nasty. We'll change it out when we get back to the lake. These guys are tough. These are the shad we're using for most of the day. As you can see, they die really, really easy. Now we're going to try to catch some golden shiners. So we've been baiting our minnow traps with bread and dog food all day. Haven't caught anything. We crushed up 2 snails and threw them in there and caught all the little cichlids you could want for baits. That'll work. Heck yeah. I think we'll make it. Let's see here. Oh boy. Woo! That's pretty close. Whee!